It is January 13th, 2022. Welcome to the Zodiac Chatline. I'm your host, Tanae, and my co-host right here is Cassie.
Hey.
We are living our best lives. We are always in an attitude of gratitude. Thank you for everybody that is following us, joining us, enjoying all of our social media. We trying, we doing it. Yes, yes, yes. Today, Cassie, what are we going to talk about?
Mercury retrograde. Yup.
No, it's like that, but it's not like that.
Yeah, no, but it
Right?
is like it, right. And it's the thing I get asked about the most, I think, as far as any kind of like occult or weird topics go. I mean, I'll always just tell people about their sun sign as soon as I find it out, which is usually early in our friendship. And people are, of course, always interested to hear that. Yeah, but anytime I bring up Mercury retrograde or I blame something on Mercury retrograde, people are like, what does that mean? And then almost everybody is like, holy shit, there's something to that. That was a really fucked up couple of weeks. So we're talking about Mercury retrograde and what it is and what it means and what it's going to do and how to protect yourself from what it might do. Or work with it.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
In as much as you can.
Best cope, because a lot of times it's just easier to work with things instead of going against them, especially when, planetary alignments, which are much larger than us as little specks here on Earth. And so it's going to be frustrating, but we live in a current time where Omicron is taking over. So I guess frustration is just something we learn to cope with.
Low-grade trauma all day, every day, baby.
What?
Okay, so let's start by talking about Mercury. Who is Mercury? What is his purview? His male energy, for sure.
It is, to me, it's definitely a male energy. Mercury can talk. Mercury rules the signs of Gemini and Virgo. And it's known for about communication and transportation, short trips, siblings, neighbors, daily mental habits, all those things that happen on a regular basis that even normal communication between, like us, our chats, it's like that is what it rules. And so when any planet like that, that is also called a personal planet, so it really affects all of how we speak. If you look in your natal chart and you found out what Mercury is, it kind of talks to how you communicate and speak. Mercury and Geminis, they are usually quick thinkers. They're the tricksters. They always have something to say. They want to tell you about everything, even if it's nothing. Mercury and Virgo, similar to likes to talk, but they are more like listener talkers, not just talkers. And theirs is a little, they're earth signs, so their speech is a little more thought out and put together, and not as
controlled
over the world as Mercury. Yeah.
Mercury is also, it's the messenger god in Roman mythology. And so, yeah, as Tanae said, its whole purview is communication. I said I was reading another astrology book, and this is the reason when I read, it said that Mercury is how things go from our eyes to our hands. So it's like from thinking something to saying it out loud or doing anything with that information, that is Mercury's influence in you. And it's quick and usually very kind of frenetic. And in retrograde periods, things happen. So yeah, on that note, for just a quick reminder, what is a retrograde? In an astronomical sense, it is the optical illusion that the planet is going backwards in the night sky, which is an optical illusion that has to do with the distance between planetary orbits in relationship to the sun and all of that. But in astrological terms, it means that the sphere that planet governs is going to be in chaos a bit, or have some difficult, challenging energy surrounding it.
Yeah, it's like the way I feel is like it when planets go retrograde, when they're going direct, all of their energies are positive and they're moving forward and they're helpful to us. When they go retrograde, it is a lot harder to access that energy and for us to be able to use it to its best abilities. Sometimes the signs that planet rules do have difficulties during the retrograde. So say during Mercury retrograde, Geminis and Virgos may have a little bit of difficulty, but I think both of those signs do benefit from being able to slow down and take their time. And that's really what Mercury retrograde feels as though it's about, is that it is time to slow down. And as a reminder, we still have Venus retrograde as well. And so again, it's like, this is really the time to watch your communication with everyone and all kinds of communication, whether it be verbal, text, emails, make sure you're sending it to the right person, make sure you're proofreading, rereading, not, any contracts. Hopefully you're not signing any contracts or making any big, but overall, like, the energy just isn't as strong.
Yeah, it's going to challenge you in some way. Like you said, instead of working with you and giving you an easy opportunity to work with it's going to cut itself off from you. And Murphy's Law, if it's something bad can happen, expect that it will. So I woke up this morning, Mercury's at the end of its shadow period. My Wi-Fi is for my work from home position. Cool. Like, I remember, I don't think she's watching because I haven't seen her name pop up in the chat, but a friend of mine who brought a question to our last live about Mercury retrograde, and I hope watches this. I remember from our youth, sent a paper to a professor and had like, oh man, I can't say it without saying her full legal name. So basically, as a joke, she had written something that said "not the fucking blank" with her name that made like a funny pun, but left it there. And her professor failed her for having that in her paper. So yes, watch your shit.
You want the other another shadow retrograde was, I got an email from my apartment complex that some of the mailboxes had been vandalized, but it wasn't my number that it said been vandalized. And then I get a follow-up email that says, disregard, it was actually another apartment complex whose mailbox, everybody is fine. And I'm like, if that ain't some Mercury retrograde shit, I don't know what is. And it's always like, wait, oops, wrong apartment complex, but blasted it. And then goes, oh yeah, by the way, just kidding. And I'm sure everybody who read it was like, I had something important come in the mail. And they're like, well, if your mail was stolen, too bad.
Yeah.
Damn, Mercury.
And that's the follow-up email is the thing that makes it Mercury retrograde energy, because those kind of mishaps happen all the time in our everyday life. You might send one offhand text to somebody, or you don't intend to, or CC the whole group on an email. You're like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. But 6 of those things will happen to you in 4 hours on Mercury retrograde for no good reason. I had a boss when I worked at a restaurant in Savannah. We ran out of credit card paper for the printer. The kitchen printer wasn't connecting to the server station.
Oh no.
It was just complete madness. And I was like, well, Mercury went retrograde today. Like, I don't know what you expect. And he's like, what does that mean? Turns out he was an Aquarius. And he vibed that. And for years afterward, he would send me messages and be like, at the beginning of the year, like, can you tell me what Mercury's going to be?
When do I have to look at it? Oh yeah. Speaking of that, it does retrograde for at least, I think 3 times a year. I'm pretty sure it's about 3 times a year. And for about 3 weeks, the planet is considered in retrograde. And so this one starts tomorrow. And it will go all the way until February 3rd. Earlier, Cassie did mention shadow energy and working in the shadows. And anytime a planet is about to go retrograde, it has a shadow period before and after, about 2 weeks. And that shadow period lends to a time of themes coming up that are about to fully be blast once that planet goes retrograde. So it's a time for you to, it's kind of like a pre-warning, like, hey,
hey,
we about to come. And you know, you're going along, and you're just like, wait a minute. Oh damn, they tried to tell us, you know. It's like,
yeah,
so just
yeah.
make sure, and honestly, you know, just kind of be in tune. I tend to like retrogrades, because it gives me a time to not to stop and reevaluate, reassess, regroup, in any aspect. I obviously it's mainly communication, but there could be other aspects of your life that you were planning to do something, and then all of a sudden you're like, maybe I don't have all the information that I need to make the right decision. So I'm all about really taking the time to enjoy the shadow periods and the retrograde period. But this one starts in Aquarius, you know, that humanitarian of the mind sign, a highly intelligent, like Mercury and Aquarius. I actually have Mercury and Aquarius. Yeah, I said that. It's like highly intelligent. Yeah, that's me. But if you know me, you know I ain't lying. Anyway, and it's really about a higher level of thought, and just like it encompasses thinking about everyone, and then it'll go back into the sign of Capricorn, which is very much
On the
grounded.
25th, right after the sun moves into Aquarius. So they just.
But you know, like Capricorn and Aquarius, they have similar-ish energies in some ways, but like you said, it's like they're going all this way. But as Cassie discovered, when was the last time? So explain this cusp we talked about.
Okay, so as Tanae mentioned, Mercury goes retrograde about 3 times a year, and it spends about 3 weeks there. And because Mercury is the closest planet to the sun, its appearance in the sky from our vantage point on Earth is never that far from the sun. So it's always right around that sun's sign. And last year they all stayed right within air signs, the Mercury retrograde periods. And that's actually pretty favorable as far as Mercury retrograde goes, because Mercury's at home with air energy. So I think that was a less aggressive series of retrogrades. So
Needed.
Because our retrogrades this year are all happening in cusps and all in air earth cusps, I was curious about that. Seemed like it would add more clusterfuck energy. It does. And the last time Mercury retrograded in cusps was in 2020. The most recent being from October 14th to November 3rd, which was the lead up to the 2020 US presidential election. Not super chill times, if you recall. And the one before that was February 17th to March 10th of 2020, which was death, the worst of times.
We all remember.
We're still in it, man. And
but it was society. It wasn't just, you know, a state, a country. It was the entire planet.
And it retrograded between Aquarius and Pisces. And Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, very close symbolism of death, the afterlife, end of life concerns, and dreamy thinking, worst case scenario thinking. And then you have Aquarius, who, as Tanae mentioned, concerns itself with the needs of humanity and society and is bigger than country borders. And that is where Mercury went retrograde when the pandemic started. So that is all to say that this retrograde between Aquarius and Capricorn, if I had to predict, sees the butting of heads between us as individuals who have things that we care about and individual needs to serve humankind, and big business daddy entities.
Absolutely.
Government, big authorities,
like that. People are going to be like, you haven't been doing it. You haven't been doing okay with this. I'm sure I could do better without all of this. It is, and Aquarius is the rebel. So like challenging authority. That's exactly what this is going to be. And authority as a broad term, challenging, you know, authority in your life, challenging all of the things you think are in charge, or like you said, like that has daddy energy. So, you know.
No, don't give it, not sexy, zaddy energy, but like, daddy, no energy.
You never know. It can cross-pollinate.
If we're trying to work with the energy.
You know, you want to work with Capricorn's energies because, you know, it's the devil in the tarot, it's Saturn, it's Lord Karma. You
don't want to work against it.
Right. You want to be like, let me stroke that daddy. You know what I mean? Like stroke that ego. But in your Aquarius mind, you're like, I'm already 10 steps ahead of you, but this is how I'm going to get, you know, all of that. So what are the possible challenges that we can face during Mercury retrograde?
Oh, what possible challenges can't we face? I think, you know, you're at a huge risk of saying the wrong thing. Whether misdirecting an email or a message, maybe not saying the wrong thing, but being received incorrectly. So slow down in your speech. Think a minute before you say the thing that pops into your head.
With Venus also retrograde, be extra careful with how you communicate within your relationships, all of your personal relationships, because everybody's going to take everything personally. It's especially in a retrograde. I mean, I think sensitivities are heightened, but you know, within your personal
Venus
relationships
and Mercury in retrograde.
So how you love and how you talk, just really focus on it and make it a point to be very intentional with it, and not be so flippant, because you just never know what you're going to say and then how that's going to be received, even if it's not your intention. And take the time to just take a breath, because if somebody's pissing you off and you start saying stuff that you can't take back, you know, maybe they just needed to vent, and maybe it's not about you. But just really like take a step back. So I for sure am about that life.
Resist the urge to quit your job in Mercury retrograde. Especially this retrograde between Capricorn and Aquarius, I think is really going to pit your logical mind between the mind that wants you to be safe and secure, and watch the desire to just start a brand new fucking business out of the blue. If you have been for the past 10 months working on a business plan, now is a good time to go back through that, edit it. Is there anything you want to add? It's a good time for small tweaks to existing things and really letting yourself sit with the ideas you've already had. It is not a good time to think you have a great, brand new, brilliant idea, especially if it's a business. Like, just give it a beat. Write it down in a journal, lock that journal in a drawer, and come back to it in February and see how you feel about it.
And you may get some really interesting ideas because of the Aquarius and Mercury. And I know this may be a little, but Uranus is also in Taurus and it's retrograde, and that's kind of the shocker and like surprises. So you may have interesting insights, but they may not need to be shared right this moment. And you may want to flesh out the idea. But like Cassie said, like just journal it and, you know, put a pin in it until maybe Valentine's Day.
Yeah. Tanae and I have been talking about doing this show for like 5 years. You know, we just started
minimum.
And, you know, sometimes ideas just take a while to simmer. But as Tanae mentioned, Mercury in Aquarius is good energy for interesting ideas, especially ones that could have a broad reach.
Outside the box thinking.
Yes. Yeah. Mercury in retrograde in Aquarius, not a great time to quit your job. Just don't do that. Don't do that right now.
No, or write that. And don't write a blog about your job either. That's the worst idea. I'm a huge fan though of if you don't like a journaling, doing audio, using your audio recorder on your phone and like getting your thoughts out that way, because then you might hear it back and be like, ooh, did I say that? And you know, you just let it go, but you got it out. You know, it didn't need to go to but you got it out and it's somewhere safe. Just make sure you don't like send it or anything like that.
On that subject, move your water cups away from your computer. I'm so serious. Like this should be best practice anyway, but really mind your technology. Where is everything? Is it Is the cord frayed? Is it acting weird? Back up your stuff. Now that I'm saying this, I realize I need to do that myself personally. Like, truly just keep an eye on stuff. My computer also took a shit in the Mercury retrograde of 2020.
Fun.
That was the US presidential election and my ankle breaking. That was super fun.
Because 2020 just took a shit on everybody. But
Oh yeah. So what are best ways to cope with Mercury retrograde?
So I am a huge fan of knowing that everything is temporary. This is going to pass. I'm a big fan of slowing down mind, body, and soul. And it is, wintertime where I live. It is getting quite chilly here in a state that's not normally super chilly, but hey, global warming. It is a really good time to kind of nest and hibernate again and take your time. And don't buy anything super expensive. Try and avoid buying cars. Don't check on your car if it needs an oil change, things like that. Like Cassie said, don't buy a computer right now or the new iPhone. Just really take your time. Like, Mercury is a very fast planet. And the fact that one of the faster planets is going backwards is telling us to slow the fuck down. Mm-hmm. And we've been saying this, honestly, since like last year, during the solstice, like a lot of, right now we've been always saying like, slow down, slow down, slow down. But I think it's very important, especially for Mercury retrogrades, to assess where you were 3 months ago. The last Mercury retrograde was like the end of September, beginning of October. Kind of think about those themes and what was going on then and see how you've moved forward. And now you get time to assess that, because once Mercury goes direct on February 3rd, and then after shadow, probably around Valentine's Day, all your ideas that you wrote down, anything you want to do, it's like time to go forward. Mm-hmm. And we'll be, going through the end of Aquarius season, floating through Pisces, and then we're going to hit Aries season, and stuff is going to, blow up, because springtime again, we get to rebirth and we start all over again. So really just, chill out. But I'm always saying that, but you know me, I like to chill out. That's hard chill. What about you?
Dude, that was my top one, was slow down. Mercury slowing down, you should slow down. What? Like, anxiety is going to be heightened. Mercury is frenetic, sped up energy. And when you can't go with that, it can be a very anxiety producing experience, and you can get all up in your head. And Mercury, again, is getting stuff from your eyes to your hands or your mouth. And if you can't quite get the ideas out, they'll just fester within you. So go outside. Get grounded. Yes. Find you some quiet, like winter space energy. Breathe in some cold air. Feel really good in your lungs.
Go hug a tree.
And let it out, because you're going to need some of that woosah. Get extra sleep. Again, winter, like deep hibernating energy. Just go to bed early. Drink extra water. I also had avoid signing major contracts and agreements if at all possible. Again, sometimes you've had something in the works for a long time. You don't get to control when things happen. Double check, read everything over 2 times, but, maybe don't do a shotgun wedding the next 3 weeks. I'd avoid that, like, again, if you're like have been toying with the idea of buying a car, but you haven't been doing your research and waiting for the right car, again, just keep doing that research. Just don't make any big decisions. I like to use Mercury retrograde periods as periods to truly try and shut the fuck up. I tend to talk a lot.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I'm usually that works in my favor, but sometimes it doesn't. So I have been.
It always works in favor. I don't care what you say.
I mean, but that's a good point with Mercury retrograde. You're probably, none of us avoid bad things and challenges our whole lives. We all experience difficult things, and
how do you grow?
Right. And from my experience, most people experience the challenges of Mercury retrograde, and probably we will too, and you will too, to some extent. Hopefully it's minimal, but challenges are how we grow. And take your lessons, your L's as lessons, and
I mean, like I said, it's the time to really just be careful with your speech, and be more intentional, with what you're doing. I love the idea of going out and grounding yourself in earth energy, because obviously air energy is way up here and earth energy does allow the thoughts to stay grounded and not as scattered. I mean, and Mercury is a fairly scattered-ish energy in general. If you hear somebody talk about mercurial, it's a very changeable. You can look at people with heavy Gemini in their chart and they're like, do they ever just stop now? And it's like, no, they're not going to stop. They're just, blah, 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 you know what I mean? Like, Geminis aren't for everybody. We all know, and they know it too. But, you need that little quick energy. And they're the first air sign, so they're like the baby chatterboxes. They're like learning to speak, and every word is something to them. And, the rest of the zodiac is like, shut up. You know what I mean? But we love you, Geminis. I love my Geminis. Shout out. So are you ready?
Okay, yes.
Wait, do you have something else before this, or do you?
The only thing I was going to say is today we're about to do something fun, but we would like to answer an audience question if there are any. And if you have one, you put it in the chat. Coral's watching it. I see one has already come through. So if anyone else wants to ask one, do that, because we're going to answer questions after we do our little activity.
Okay. And also, by the way, if you did not catch this live, we do post it on YouTube. We're on the Twitter. We're on the TikTok. We're on all that. Tell all your friends. Also, this Sunday, we do have our next live show with a guest. We have decided to, during Mercury Retrograde, reevaluate how this is going. So we will have one guest from now on. And we will do that this Sunday. And if you do want to be a guest, please just send us an email at the Zodiac Chatline at gmail.com. We will get back to you, and we will love to schedule you for a show. Mm-hmm. All right. So we are really excited about this. As you can tell, if you can feel the energy, you know it. Okay. So today we have decided we are going to each tell you what the signs are as R&B songs. So I hope you're ready for this. Ready? Okay, yes. So I say we just say the sign, and then we each say the song for the sign.
Okay, you go first.
Okay, for Aries, because we're going to start. Mm-hmm. My song for Aries was That's the Way Love Goes by Janet Jackson.
Interesting.
You know, like a moth to a flame, burned by the fire. My love is blind. Can't you see my desire?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You know?
That's the way love goes. Yeah, I feel that. Stop using copywritten music in our show.
I'm sorry, but I love you, Janet, girl. I
know, right?
Okay,
We're not trying to profit off this, girl. Okay.
No,
I mean, we are, but not your music. Anyway,
no.
Okay. So my Aries song is Me, Myself, and I by Beyonce.
Oh my God, yes, that's okay. This is going to be good. I am with you on that.
Taurus, I'll go first.
Okay.
Was Sitting Up in My Room by Brandy, because that's where they're at. They are sitting up in their room.
I said End of the Road by Boys to Men.
Ooh, I really wanted that on my list, and I couldn't figure out where it fit in. So why did you choose that for Taurus?
I Can't Let Go. It's unnatural. You belong to me. I belong to you.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I feel that. That's big Taurus energy for sure.
Okay, ready for Gemini is next, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I have My Boo by Ghost Town DJs.
Okay. I don't know if I'm familiar with this song, so can you give me a lyric of why?
At night, I think of you. I want to be your lady, baby.
Oh, yes.
If your game is on, give me a call, boo. If you're loving strong, got to get my all to you.
Yes. Okay. I can see that for Gemini.
Okay, what'd you pick?
I picked Confessions Part 2 by Usher. Gemini is just me saying anything.
Too much. Be quiet.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Cancer, this is an obvious choice.
Which
but
one?
Let's Get Married by Jack and Edge.
Oh wow. Okay. I like that one.
Talking about your marital plans on the first date is very much a Cancer mood.
So I picked "Unbreak My Heart" by Toni Braxton.
Yup. Yes. One of my childhood jams for sure. Love that one.
So let's see. Okay, so for Leo, I picked this man. I picked this one. I picked this one because like I liked it. Anyway, I'm going too deep. Exhale, Shoop Shoop by Whitney Houston from the Waiting to Exhale soundtrack. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We'll just go with that. Okay.
I picked "You're Making Me High" by Toni Braxton for Leo because that song is about masturbating and a Leo would. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
to themselves.
They love themselves. Good for you, Leo. Like, do it.
Okay. Go. You're next.
Oh yeah. Okay. Virgo. I picked "Back at One" by Brian McKnight because a Virgo would give you an instruction manual of how they loved you and how it was like a clock.
Okay. I picked "Freak Like Me" by Adina Howard
because
we all know Virgos are freaks, and
True,
they do too.
They're kind of low key about it, but not once they've had 3 drinks.
They are, but we all have heard "Partition."
Facts.
Okay, for Libra, I said "You Make Me Wanna" Usher.
Oh, I had that for Libra, and I changed it.
No way!
I was like, I had that for somebody on my list, and I changed it. Okay, why? Yes. What was your thought process for that?
You make me leave the one I'm with, start a new relationship, because that's what they do. We can see that no matter if it's a relationship or I'm gonna make sure I have 6 kids in 1 year. But anyway.
Yes.
And
Usher we're not gonna stop coming for you.
Nope.
Till you come on the show and get your chart read.
Nope. And Usher is a Libra.
Interesting. Okay.
Right.
So man, that would have been dope, but
okay. No, it's good though. Go. I'm excited.
"How Will I Know" by Whitney Houston, because you won't, Libra. You won't know. How will you know if he really loves you?
That is
you say a prayer because but you should trust your gut, Libra.
Love it.
If you feel it, you do know it.
Yes. Ooh, yes.
Okay, Scorpio, I went outside the sexy organs box and went more the jealousy route and went with "Say My Name" by Destiny's Child. Cause
Go ahead.
No, because it's like vaguely a threat. You know, say my name. If no one's around you.
I had that as an honorable mention for another sign, but I did pick that sign. Yeah. So for Scorpio, I did go the genital route because why not?
It was hard.
I put "Freaking You" by Jodeci. Because okay, anyway. Yeah. We already know. For Sagittarius, I picked "Pony" by Genuine.
I think I know your thought process behind this. What was your thought process behind this?
Because Sagittarius, they're known for the centaur and their hips, and they're kind of built like horses, and so
Pony.
Yeah. Wait, what did you think I picked it?
I thought you picked it because it's very straightforward. It's blunt. Like, if you want it, come ride it.
we can go with that. We'll go with that one too.
I guess I'm projecting because the reason I picked mine is for that. So for Sagittarius, I picked "Let's Get It On" by Marvin Gaye because they just come right out and say it. They would.
I would also give that one to an honorable mention for a Taurus for "Let's Get It On" because it's super groovy and like let's get it on. Okay.
So, we're up to Capricorn. I picked "Control" by Janet Jackson.
That goes with their devil energy card.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. Okay. I picked "Real Love" by Mary J. Blige because Capricorns don't really do that fake shit.
True. That's true.
In any kind of way. You know what I mean?
That's real.
Yeah.
Real love. Yeah.
Right. And Mary J. Blige is Capricorn. Happy belated birthday, girl. I think it was like,
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
I think it was like yesterday. Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
The queen.
Okay. So for Aquarius, I picked Just Kicking It by Escape.
Oh, that feels right for them. Yep. Yep.
Because, a homie and just chill.
Stay in the friend zone for the next 62 years if you want to. I'm an Aquarius. You'll never know. Is it the friend zone or is it just how I live? It is what it is.
It's all the same thing.
Yeah, fuck it. This whole world is my friend zone, man.
Listen. But if it goes beyond friend zone, you'll know.
True.
Yeah.
True. For Aquarius, I picked Fantasy by Mariah Carey.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
A big part of that was after I watched the video for it. I realized that she's just by herself the whole time, surrounded by a bunch of good-looking male dancers. I'm like, yeah, she doesn't give a fuck. She's gonna, she's doing her.
Big Aries
very
energy.
Aquarius,
Right.
but yes, also big Aries energy for sure.
Okay, go ahead.
And it's very cerebral. Oh yeah, Pisces. Okay, this one also was a little bit influenced by the video, but it was coincidentally works with the video. Is No Ordinary Love by Sade. Very
that's
ethereal, and she's a mermaid in the video. The whole thing happens
a mermaid.
IRL.
Period. Yeah,
true.
And a Capricorn.
Oh yes,
yeah,
love that for her. Yes, so that was my pick for. Oh, what's happening to my computer? Pisces. Yes. Okay.
I picked Fantasy by Mariah Carey for Pisces.
Yes.
Because it's like, daydreaming. And it just, so to me, when I heard it, because I listened to it, I didn't want to watch the video because, like, I feel like when you listen to songs and you see the video, sometimes everything kind of, you're like, this is my perception of what it should look like. And then you watch it, you're like, oh. That's not what they meant at all, but like, but I definitely picked that. And it's when you walk. Oh wait, sorry.
Yes,
but you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I know. I stopped myself. I know.
Good for you. I totally went with it.
I caught myself.
Right. Okay. So who was hard for you? We discussed in our pre-call that it was a little difficult for some signs. Do you remember which ones were hard for you? Do you remember which one you got the first?
I had a couple. I think I did "Unbreak My Heart, Cancer" by Tony Bennett.
Yes.
I feel like that one was. And like Jodeci's. I had quite a few for Scorpio, but Jodeci, like "Sex Me Up" was another Scorpio possibility. I also, side note, as an honorable mention, did. I know I'm going off track, but stay with me. Brandy and Monica's "The Boy Is Mine" as a Leo and a Libra. For that.
I had picked that originally for Gemini.
I know, me too, but I was like, no, there's way more.
Right.
Taurus was difficult, and maybe a little bit Pisces. But what about you?
Taurus was hard for me too because, it was just hard to find songs that I felt like the tempo, the lyrics, and all of it kind of worked. And some of them I gave myself liberties with some stuff, like even my Aquarius pick, I was like, that's heavily based on my interpretation of the video, but but the hardest for me were Leo, Sagittarius, and Capricorn. Capricorn especially is like not super R&B song energy at all.
No, unless you're that man we don't want to mention, and that's all your whole thing is. But anyway. I will say that. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No.
I did also have "Free Your Mind" by In Vogue for an Aquarius.
That's a good one.
That would have been my other one, but I liked the other one. Yeah.
I had Deborah Cox, "Nobody's Supposed to Be Here" for
Scorpio.
Aquarius, until I listened to the lyrics more because I was just thinking of the chorus.
Oh yeah, no, I thought that was
like,
Scorpio. No. I thought that was Scorpio when I listened to it, just because. And then I also did "All My Life," Casey and JoJo for Libra. And I did do "Say My Name" for Destiny Child, but I said Leo because I'm like, they want to say it.
Makes sense.
And then I did "Creep," TLC for Sagittarius.
I really wanted to use that for someone, but I couldn't figure out where. Okay, we can talk about R&B songs forever. Let's get to the audience questions.
Oh, go. Okay.
So, from Superfan, let me cut that.
Taurus.
Right? What should we do during retrograde? Anything that we haven't mentioned already that you think is a good idea to do during a Mercury retrograde?
Prepare for the next one. I'm just kidding. I'm joking. I feel like we really were pretty thorough with, I mean, what do you think?
I'm trying to think if there's any other suggestions. I think actually what you're doing, working with, I can hear you shuffling cards, but if you have any, you know, tarot cards at home or anything like that to play with, it's a good time to receive messages. You'll probably receive some unwelcome ones, but if you just keep an open mind, especially with the Aquarius energy, it would be a good time to pick up an old tarot deck and start, you know, futzing around with it and looking at it. Maybe don't buy a new one, but if you already have one at home sitting around, you know, it'd be a good time to check into that. I think a good time to read a book.
Maybe a book you started that
you didn't quite get into.
Yeah. So I think it's a good time to like go back to things that you were really working on and see them to completion, because you may have a different set of eyes on them at this point. Exactly.
And you can distract your anxious, not ancient mind. Is that a Freudian slip? I don't know. Some of our lizard brain. Whatever. You can distract yourself from Mercury retrograde fucking with your mental health by reading or you know,
or even honestly
writing.
Meditation I'm a huge fan of, and I'm also a really big fan of vibrational hertz frequencies. You can like YouTube any of them and any wavelength. 432 is a good one. It's what the Earth's core vibrates as, and it really gives you a calming sense. And since Mercury does rule the mind, it's good to be able to maybe like quiet that sometime, and you can like be still and really hear the messages, or just like give your mind a break. I mean, that's really what Mercury is like. It's just, you know, the thinking process needs to just be like reevaluated.
Unplug from the news as much as you can. You know, I know it's
Is that real? Do people still watch that?
No, but we all get it every 10 seconds on our telephones. So, you know, try not to look at the news notifications and chill out. Another question from my little bro, music lover 389. How it's directed at me, but I'm going to direct it to both of us. How long have we been into astrology today?
When my soul was born, that's what I was into astrology. And I'm saying that facetiously, but I'm kind of serious. I am more than 4 decades old. So it's been about 30 years, give or take. It seems so natural to me. It's not that it's a part of my personality. Maybe it is, but it's how I learn about a lot of things. You know? But forever. But like into like this probably like 15, 20 years, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm same as far as it's been since I was about like 10 years old, I think, was when I got my first astrology book. I remember I was definitely in elementary school, and it gave a little paragraph of every birthday and all the boys I had crushes on. I like looked up their days.
You had to.
Yeah.
You still look up the boys' crushes. I just
I mean,
not no more though. Not no more.
I'm a married woman.
She cuffed y'all. She cuffed. She found him and she was like, "You mine."
Right.
Got them cancer claws.
But yeah, and I've said this before. I just like really deeply resonated with descriptions of my sun sign, and I was taken with it. And I've, you know, I was thinking about this Mercury retrograde for this episode. I had that boss, the one that texted me for a long time or messaged me on Facebook asking when Mercury retrograde was happening. He was the first person that I ever read their astrological chart without my copy of Joanne Woolfolk, you know, the only astrology book you'll ever need or whatever. And we were at a work picnic, and I remember I felt good I was really nervous, but I felt good about it. And when it was done and I saw like a shadow and felt something land on me, and uncharacteristically did not freak out, but it was a praying mantis that had landed right in the middle of my forehead.
Okay, High Priestess.
Right. And then this young woman that I worked with at the time who was a Pisces and a very like witchy chick, was standing right there when it happened and was like, It's like,
she's like, who is this bitch?
but now this has been 13 years ago, and I've been reading charts and doing stuff with astrology for fun and reading books for like years and years. And this is, here we are.
I mean, this seems natural, I think, for both of us, like a natural evolution. And I am thankful, like, just like you, it's helped me learn a lot about myself and the people that I know. And not only that, but like really helped me relate to them on where they're coming from, because you can only meet people where they are. And sometimes you understand, like, you're a water sign. And so I know that your emotions are always something that moves you. That's how your energy works. I'm an air sign and an Aquarius of that. So, I'm like, yeah, I hear you. But you know what I mean? So it's, but thank you. That was an awesome question. It's one of, that was a good one. We appreciate that.
Thank you. And if anybody has any questions, wants to be a guest on the show, we're getting booked up, y'all, but we got room. We're doing this for a year.
Yes. We in February right now. We're in February.
And thank you all so much for joining us. If you subscribe to our YouTube channel, the link's in our bio. You can always watch it. And if enough of you subscribe, then I can change the URL.
That's the next campaign, y'all. We want to change the URL.
And you can also listen on Spotify if you like that. Yeah.
All right. So before
we'll be back on Sunday.
Yes.
Oh, yes, a card. Let's do a card.
Before we get out of here, I'm going to pull an oracle card this time. And it's from a favorite deck of mine. And these cards are gorgeous. I'm just going to say that because that's how I feel. Boop, boop. This is the Whispers of Ganesh. It may be backwards to you, but just know that's what I'm telling you. So I'm going to pull one of the cards, and then I'll probably read the excerpt because I don't, I want you guys to get
an oracle card.
Yeah,
You're supposed
I want you to get the full message. So here we go.
In the interest of Mercury retrograde, we will read directly from the text.
So good. It's a good one, y'all. I know you can see my veins. I know you can see my face. Okay, ready? The card we have is Personal Transformation. It is number 35, which does reduce to an 8 strength card, kind of all about the self, and, it is the infinity symbol if you turn it. So it's always about, growing and changing and transforming. And to me, transformation is always key. So I will hold it just like this while I read. Personal transformation. Your soul is assisting you with creating changes to align with your life, with your life's purpose. Ganesha is pointing to the heavens and encouraging you to be open to new ideas and growth, the growth of your spirit. Listen to the still, small voice within. You may have been feeling a strong desire to obtain or experience again a sense of meaning, inspiration, or purpose in your life. This is likely a time in which you are making some significant adjustments in your life. These adjustments are helping you in the process of changing yourself from the old you to the new you, and you will soon benefit from a fresh perspective on life. You are in a great place now for honoring the person who you truly are or want to be, rather than simply following a routine that has little meaning to you. This is a profound spiritual journey that you are experiencing, which brings greater meaning and purpose into your life. This will renew your inner energy. Eliminate everything in your life that is not essential to your transformation. Realize that some of your activities may be in place simply to act as buffers or distractions from what is truly important. Allow the changes that are taking place and trust that a period of greater calm and stability will follow. Ganesha is calling you to your destiny. Your calls for guidance have not gone unnoticed, and you will ultimately find what you are yearning for.
Yes.
Tell me that's not a Mercury retrograde card, y'all.
Yeah.
What? All of that energy.
Yes. May you have all of that and more.
Listen, but thank you guys once again for checking us out, for talking in the chat, for just sharing your energy with us. We love to do this. This is so much fun for us. I think for Cassie and myself, I can speak for myself, but this is one of our favorite things to do. We look forward to this. We literally chat about it almost every single day. So again, follow us on all the platforms. Tell your friends. If you want to ask us about your families, all of that, we like family relationships. Why not? Why not? We got to work with those energies. But the Zodiac Chatline at gmail.com. Send us there. Cassie, I will see you in the chat. Everybody
Yes.
else, it's all love. Peace.
Bye.